Finally, Avatar 3, Fire and Ash has arrived. Following that horrific war, the blood-soaked image of Jake's eldest son, Netium, has become a permanent wound for this family, one that will never heal. The once fierce warrior Jake seems to be a different man now. His son's death remains an unresolved knot in his mind, filled now only with the fire of revenge. He no longer heeds the tribe's ancient customs. All day long, he takes his second son, Loak, searching the ocean depths to recover the forbidden lethal weapons left behind by humans. Upon returning to shore, the clan leader angrily blocks their path. He shouts his intent to confiscate those weapons, but Jake doesn't even look back at him. In his eyes, burning with hatred, the resolve to avenge his son outweighs any rule. His wife Nititiri's condition is even more tragic. As she organizes those cold metal weapons, tears roll down her face. The woman who was once so strong has become skeletal from the agony of losing her child. She had even wanted to die along with her son several times. Jake barely managed to stop her. Every time she breaks down, Jake forces her to pull herself together. But misfortune seems to seek out the miserable. At night, when everyone is in deep sleep, Jake's adopted son, Spider, suddenly begins to suffer from respiratory distress. Despite spending so many years on Pandora, he is ultimately human, so he cannot survive without an oxygen mask. His face was turning blue from lack of air. The whole family panicked, searching for a spare mask. Only Nititiri stood still. The reason was simple. Spider's biological father is Colonel Quaritch, with whom Jake's family has a blood feud. Although Spider grew up with them, that thorn remains in Nititiri's heart. Fortunately, Jake quickly found a mask, put it on Spider, and brought him back from death's door. The next day, the family goes to the seashore in search of some relief. But the sound of a horn is heard on the horizon. The wind traders have arrived. They are Pandora's famous merchants, trading between various clans and never involving themselves in war. Their leader, Perak, is an old man flawless in word and deed. He states that they only trade. They do not recognize enmity or friendship. In his view, taking no side is the only way to survive in these difficult times. Talking to the old man, Jake realizes that keeping Spider here is too dangerous. So, he wants to send Spider away with the merchants. Hearing this, the children immediately protest. Whatever peace remained in the family is instantly shattered. But Jake and Nititiri remain firm in their decision. They are determined to send Spider away. When the little girl hisses at him, Jake is forced to compromise. Ultimately, it is decided that the whole family will go together. Leader Perak was initially unwilling, but Jake proposes that they will provide security for the merchants, as the Ash people have recently started causing significant trouble. Hearing this, Perak thinks the proposal isn't bad and agrees. Shortly after the caravan sets off, the humans detect the location of Jake's family. Colonel Quaritch sets out with his squad. Just then, Nititiri sees something descending from the sky like black clouds. Those are not Ikrans. They are the Ash people, masters of looting and arson. Nititiri screams to warn the merchants and aims her bow at the enemy. Although the wind traders dislike war, when a knife is held to their throats, they too take up arms. Jake pushes the children to a safe spot and takes flight on his Ikran. He strikes at the weak points of the enemy vehicles, trying to disrupt their formation. Nititiri has become a force of destruction. Her fighting style suggests she has abandoned all regard for her life. Because her son's death has not been avenged, her own life means nothing to her. But the enemy's numbers are too great. Soon, their defense crumbles. The violent Ash warriors board the ships. Spider shoots his bow with gritted teeth, but he cannot match these barbarians. Even more terrifying, some enemies climb to the highest points of the ship, preparing to throw spears at the floating device. Just at that moment, Jake arrives, firing shots to force them to retreat temporarily. But then, someone appears on the battlefield who freezes everyone's blood. Varang, the leader of the Ash people. This woman is extremely cruel. Fortunately, Jake leaps away at the last moment. Otherwise, he would have been burned by the raging flames. Then Varang's gaze falls on Nititiri. She descends like a rock. With the twang of a bow, an arrow pierces straight into Nititiri's shoulder. Nititiri curls up in pain and snaps the arrow shaft. She pounces on Varang. While they engage in a fight to the death, Jake's children try to escape on Ikrans, but they didn't know their mother was losing the battle. Finally, Nititiri falls from a great height into the deep jungle below, and no response is heard. While escaping, the children's mounts are also lost, and they crash into the jungle below. Before they can get up from the ground, They hear the sounds of fierce fighting and screaming nearby. Spider and Loak peek out and see the Ash people ruthlessly killing the unarmed merchants. Both burst with rage but know that stepping forward now means certain death. Just as they try to sneak away, the enemies spot them. Seeing no other way, they run frantically. Amidst the chaos, Loak stumbles and falls. He quickly rolls over and fires at his pursuers with a pistol. After 2 heavy gunshots, 2 enemies collapse, but the danger hasn't passed. Varang is rushing in with more men. Loak and Spider run for their lives with their little sisters. Finally, they are cornered at the edge of a cliff. Seeing no other option, they jump into the fast-flowing river below with their sisters. The bone-chilling water temporarily holds off the enemies. Climbing ashore, the children are shivering with fear. They have lost their way. Kiri suggests going to the spaceship to look for their parents, but Spider shakes his head in refusal. The way back is now controlled by enemies. Going there means stepping into a trap. Although the children argue about this, concern for their parents ultimately prevails. They decide to take the risk and return. They did not know that Jake was also frantically searching for them. Jake finds the children's footprints on the ground, but before he can realize anything, he is struck from behind and knocked down. The attacker is none other than Colonel Quaritch and his special recombinant squad. Jake had killed this former human commander, but he has been resurrected by implanting his memories into an avatar clone body. Now he has 2 goals: to take revenge on Jake and to find his own son, Spider. After capturing Jake, Quaritch sees a fully charged breathing mask lying on the ground. He recognizes it at a glance as Spider's. This scene makes his heart tremble. It means Spider didn't have time to change his mask and could die from lack of oxygen at any moment. Seizing the opportunity, Jake speaks up, claiming that Spider is very weak and won't survive if he falls into the hands of the Ash people. He tries to mislead Quaritch. Despite his intense hatred for Jake, Quaritch temporarily puts aside thoughts of revenge for the sake of his son's life. His men try to object, but it's no use. Quaritch takes Jake and sets out to find Spider. Meanwhile, warning signals start beeping from Spider's mask. The red light is flashing, meaning oxygen is out. Running has drained his energy. Spider loses consciousness and collapses. Loak holds his cooling body and breaks down in tears. Just then, Kiri suddenly stops. She sees some strange, glowing dandelion-like objects ahead. An idea strikes Kiri. Seeing Spider at death's door, she screams at Loak to lay Spider down. Then she connects her braid to the ground and tears off a dandelion flower, stuffing it into Spider's mouth. An incredible event occurs. Spider's pale face begins to normalize, and his breathing stabilizes. Strange and subtle changes occur in his body. His life force returns. But after a while, Kiri's energy runs out, and she cannot maintain the connection with the earth. Loak quickly disconnects her. Kiri hugs Spider and weeps. Amazingly, Spider sits up coughing and pulls the tubes out of his nose. He is now able to breathe Pandora's air freely. Seeing this, everyone is overwhelmed with joy. Soon, Loak's gun runs out of bullets, and the Ash clan captures them all. Varang doesn't want to kill them immediately. She is impressed by how Loak killed her men. She wants to know how this strange gun works. Loak says it's useless without bullets. Just then, Jake and Quaritch arrive. They are surprised to see Spider without a mask, but the priority is rescue. Jake signals Quaritch to untie him and asks for a knife. Quaritch attacks with lightning speed, taking Varang hostage and forcing everyone to drop their weapons. The situation seems under control, but Varang secretly signals her troops outside. Suddenly, a surprise attack forces them to flee. Quaritch disconnects his neural link with great difficulty. Varang is impressed by his strength and asks him to teach her how to use the weapons. Quaritch teaches her how to load and fire. Once the lesson is over, Varang prepares to sacrifice everyone. Meanwhile, Nightitiri, severely injured, is rescued by her Mount Ikran and taken to the Sky People's territory. She is given emergency medical treatment. Upon regaining consciousness, she asks about the children. Hearing this, the human's friend Eno decides to go save the children with the avatars and Sky People. Varang's clan has started the sacrificial festival. Amidst the dancing, singing, and uproar, the guards become distracted. Kiri seizes this opportunity to connect with the ground again, controlling plants that shoot toxic thorns to incapacitate the guards. Loak manages to get a knife and cuts everyone's bonds. Before the enemies realize it, they dive into the water. Varang realizes and gives chase, but she can do nothing in the water. Jake and the others swim for a long time and rest at a spot. Quaritch wants to settle scores with Jake but stops thinking of the danger. Jake tries to convince him not to be a slave to humans anymore. He says that whatever the skin color, remembering one's own side is important. Jake says, "You have new eyes now, they are just waiting to open." Quaritch falls into thought. At dawn, some shapes are seen in the sky. Jake prepares everyone to flee, but as they get closer, it turns out they are sky people, Eno and Nightitiri. Seeing them, Quaritch quietly slips away. The children and Jake breathe a sigh of relief upon seeing their mother. Eno is surprised and happy to see Spider without a mask. Everyone returns to the sky people's camp, while Quaritch goes back to the human base. He informs his bosses about Spider's ability to breathe. The humans are very happy to hear this, as solving the breathing problem would make conquering Pandora easier. At the Sky People's camp, Spider undergoes a physical examination. It is found that something like mycelium or a fungal web has spread through his nervous system, similar to the forest's network. His cellular changes are helping him breathe. Jake asks the doctor if this can be replicated, so all humans can live here. But the doctor says there is a problem. Nerve connections are sprouting in Spider's head. Meanwhile, Kiri connects to the soul tree again and screams, asking why Mother Awa did not appear to her when Spider was dying. But no answer comes. Instead, she is thrown out. The next day, Kiri asks her grandmother about the mystery of her birth. Her grandmother reveals that Kiri has no father. Her mother is Grace's avatar. When Grace was dying, prayers were offered to Awa. It seems Awa heard those prayers, and Kiri was born. They take Kiri to her mother's body and warn her not to try connecting with Awa, or she might die. Jake and Nightitiri argue about Spider. Nightitiri proposes killing Spider, which Jake does not accept. Amidst the argument, news arrives that humans have brought whaler ships to the middle of the ocean and killed a huge tulkun. Hearing this, everyone rushes to the water tribe. Even with her injuries, Nightitiri starts practicing with her bow. Kiri braids Spider's hair. At night, the clan chief informs everyone that an exiled small tulkun had attacked a human ship, causing the humans to attack again. Although this tulkun was the companion of a great warrior's son, according to the rules, he must be punished because he brings death. So, it is decided he will be permanently exiled. Loak gets angry hearing this. He protests, saying it is unjust. When Jake tries to stop him, the situation worsens. Loak blames his father for never taking his side. When Jake cites the example of his dead eldest son, Loak is hurt even more. Late at night, while Jake is drinking alone, Loak contemplates suicide. He stops at the last moment. Kiri and Loak's girlfriend comfort him, and they repair Nightitiri's broken bow to gift to him. The next day, Nightitiri is surprised to see the repaired bow, as it belonged to ancestors and was impossible to fix. Loak achieved it. On the other hand, Quaritch goes to the Ash people with a lot of weapons to get his son back. After initially being beaten, he is taken to Varang. Varang invites him to her room and tells their history. Once they too believed in Awa, but after fire fell from the sky and receiving no help from Awa, they lost faith. Now they only believe in fire and ash. Quaritch proposes giving her snipers from a distance. Varang agrees, and they form an alliance. Varang will find Spider and the Sky People for him. Loak takes leave of his mother and sets out to find that small tulkun. His girlfriend and friends won't let him go alone, so they accompany him. The adults are angry to learn this. Jake wants to go look for them, but because today is a special festival of the Water Tribe, he is forced to stay on guard. Spider and Kiri get caught while fetching water. Quaritch captures Spider. Jake receives news that humans are approaching fast. Quaritch lands on the coast and tells the Water Tribe to hand over Jake. The chief refuses. Jake doesn't want others to be harmed for his sake, so he tells his wife and children to flee. But Nightitiri insists on staying with Jake and sends Kiri away with responsibility. Just as Quaritch orders the attack on the Water Tribe, Jake comes out and feigns surrender. He sets a condition: his family and the Water Tribe must be let go. Jake threatens that if he is killed, Quaritch won't survive either. Finally, Quaritch agrees and takes Jake away. Nightitiri looks on helplessly. Quaritch returns to the human base with the Ash clan. The general initially wants to fire upon seeing so many people on radar, but later accepts them as friends. The general congratulates Quaritch, and experiments on Spider begin. While searching for his tulkun friend in the sea, Loak faces a sand shark attack. At the last moment, the Tulkuns come and save them. Loak is surprised to see the boy who used to bully him has also come to save him. They are friends now. Spider is locked in a room. Quaritch goes to talk to him and gives his son his identity tag. He also speaks of Spider's mother. Spider secretly keeps it. At night, the small Tulkun comes to Loak and explains why he had fled. Humans had killed one of his friends, so he has returned for revenge. Hearing that humans plan to exterminate the Tulkuns, a biologist protests, but no one listens. Jake is scheduled to be executed at 6 a.m. the next day. Jake tries to convince Quaritch that he can start a new life if he wants. He wants to show him his memory connection, but Quaritch leaves. Nightitiri brings out the explosive arrows Jake made. Spider uses the tag given by his father to open the ventilation shaft and escapes, throwing the tag away. Nightitiri infiltrates the human base, captures Varang, and finds out Jake's location. The next morning, a huge bulldozer crushes Jake's cage and starts pushing him toward a burning furnace. The general himself was driving it. Just when Jake is about to die, Spider stands in front. The general wants to shoot, but Quaritch forbids it. But the general ignores him and tries to shoot. Just then, Nightitiri arrives, destroys the aircraft, and rescues Jake and Spider. While flying, it occurs to Jake that keeping Spider alive isn't right. If humans replicate his breathing ability, Pandora will be destroyed. He lands in the jungle with Spider and prepares to kill him. Spider simply asks, "Jake, do you not love me anymore?" Jake cannot kill him. Nightitiri arrives and stops him. She has received a signal from Awa that there is another way. Jake returns and prepares everyone for war. He appeals to the Tulkuns for help. Initially, they refuse, but when Loak and his friends say that they should be exiled too, they change their minds. The Tulkuns join the war. The war begins. The human naval fleet is advancing. There is a huge whirlpool on the way, so they have to go around it. Suddenly, massive Tulkuns start attacking from beneath the sea. The humans never imagined something like this. The human ships are devastated by the Tulkun attack. As the battle nears its end, another group of aircraft is seen in the sky. A solar eclipse is also about to begin. Kiri decides to try again. She goes underwater and attempts to connect with the soul tree. Even now, Awa does not respond. Spider and her little sister join her. The three of them pray together. This time, Awa looks upon them, but suddenly, a torpedo or missile hits the soul tree, and the connection is severed. Darkness falls everywhere. The battle rages on. The water tribe queen, Ronas, is critically injured. Nightitiri is scorched by Varang's fire. Jake is also wounded. Spider goes looking for Kiri and finds her breathing underwater by connecting with a jellyfish. Nightitiri helps Ronas give birth, but Ronas dies. Quaritch captures the little girl and tells Nightitiri to surrender. Quaritch states he only wants Nightitiri. The other humans continue hunting Tulkuns. The NA6 can no longer protect them. Suddenly, the soul tree behind Kiri lights up. A swarm of sharks surrounds them. At Kiri's signal, all the sea creatures pounce on the humans. In the sky, flocks of birds strike and destroy the aircraft. The ship that was hunting Tulkuns is dragged underwater by a massive Tulkun. The whirlpool swallows the remaining ships. The general orders a retreat. Jake tells Loak that he is now a worthy warrior. They go together to rescue the girl. Spider tells Quaritch he is coming and asks him to release the girl. Jake attacks at the opportune moment. Loak helps his father from a distance, but Varang spots him. When Varang goes to kill Loak, Kiri appears and easily defeats Varang with her psychic powers. But Quaritch flees with Spider. Jake chases them. They all fall into that whirlpool. The fire from the explosion rushes toward Jake. Spider raises a bow and tells Quaritch to move away, and actually shoots an arrow at him. But that doesn't stop their fight. As Spider is about to slip and fall during the explosion, Quaritch catches him. It becomes clear that he genuinely loves his son. Jake pulls both of them up and gives Quaritch a chance to turn good. But seeing Nightitiri approaching, Quaritch jumps back into the water. The solar eclipse ends, and the war ceases. Afterward, they all establish a connection with Awa again, and this time, the newborn little Spider also joins them. Here the complete movie ends. The visual effects or scenes of Avatar, Fire and Ash are extraordinary, but the story is a bit old-fashioned. Subscribe to the channel to watch more new movies. See you again in more new movies later. Thank you everyone.